Radiant team ban.
Well, I think this is it. I think I've done it right. Might be live. Can't tell yet if my audio is working in the game in the actual spectate. But we're going to go ahead and proceed anyways.
Remaining.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. My name is KotlGuy. For those of you who know me,
5 seconds remaining.
welcome back. For those of you who don't, welcome. This will be my first European Elite League officially casted game. It's going to be very nice. I want to thank everyone at IXDL for giving me the vouch and the opportunity to hop in here and do the casting. I will try my best to not screw it up too hard, but I do want everyone to go ahead and forgive me out there. Having the nerves in the first game and configuring everything. I got a new microphone here I'm trying to work with and the ins and outs, and I'm going to try my best to get everything sorted. And I just want to ask for everyone's patience out there in case things get a little hairy at the start. And if I slip things up, I trust that you all will do your best to forgive me. And well, without further ado, let's go ahead and step into the official draft as we start here. It's European Elite game, of course, so a nice mixed match set of people here.
5 seconds remaining.
Hold on here. It looks like I got a text message. Oh man, first thing I do is extremely unprofessional, but it's okay. I'm gonna need to tell my friend to, I'll be hungry, but do what you must. It's okay though. We want a little airtime to happen because, well, sometimes being alone as a caster, it's hard to fill the void of all this dead airtime while teams plot away on what they want to play with. But with what we have so far, it looks like, wow, you know that we've reached a real nice patch. 6.79, the patch of the support. And you can tell that by looking at the first couple bans they did here. For the Radiant side, they banned out Crystal Maiden right off the bat, which, as you know, has stepped into the limelight of top tier in this latest patch. I'm a big fan of support, obviously, myself being KotlGuy, but man, she is hot to trot. Excellent frostbite skill, can take down creeps for easy neutral action. Of course, everyone gaining a little more gold per minute. It's always nice for support. And well, lately, you've seen Crystal Maid pick up Midas very often, which in the past you would think is probably obnoxious, but as of late, really nice. So I'm curious to see. Well, I'm not going to be curious to see because we're not going to see shit from her because she's been banned. So moving on, next ban, Pugna, also a very good strong force to be reckoned with. Strong pushing power. His blast not only wipes out creeps very quickly, but does half damage towards the towers as well. So very nice. And of course, that Neither Ward can crash down on anyone trying to do massive amounts of magic casting and damage. And then Lich as well being banned. Lich also a very superior, once going from few and far between as far as seeing him in the game, and now he's either first ban, first pick. Well, I have to say that has to do with the new sacrifice buff has been pretty nice. Not only do you deny your enemy the XP, but now you actually gain some delicious sweet XP, so that's quite swell, along with his usual tools. Excellent Chain Frost and Frost Nova slow. Frost Armor is also very nice. And then to finish out the ban, the second ban rather, for Radiant, they went ahead with the Clockwork.
New game hosted.
I like to feel that teams that ban Clockwork really want to make sure they assert themselves in the laning phase. Clockwork being a very strong off-lane presence, tends to be in the tier of Darkseer and Bounty Hunter as far as taking good advantage and being able to survive. But Clockwork has a little extra something up his sleeve. It got that rocket that can deny the pull camp of the opposite team, as well as the, well, if you're on the Dire team at least, you can cog block out the creeps from pushing the lane too far forward, so that always helps. So let's move on from the bans to some of the picks here. Naga Siren, first pick up on the Radiant team, not too surprised there. Naga Siren can make or break certain team fights. Naga's Song of the Siren being just very powerful to stop the whole team or get something set up, which with someone like Darkseer as their second pick, I bet you can count on the fact that Naga Song is going to be used offensively, very offensively. Excellent setup with Darkseer there with his wall and vacuum. On the the Dire side, Elder Titan picked up first. Elder Titan has come into a world of his own as far as versatility. You could see him middle, you could see him support, roam around. He's just got all the tools, and with their pick setup having Venomancer as the second pick, I I don't know. We could see middle or top. Venomancer's the same way. I've been seeing Venomancer picked up now in this latest patch. Played middle, played carry, and played support. Personally, I don't really care for Venomancer, to be frank with you. I don't know if I've even seen a game where Venomancer's won. I feel like a lot of people put a lot into his new ability to have Poison Sting on his wards and have been doing a lot of 1-1-3 and etc. builds to really get those wards up quickly, but you know, who knows? Maybe they're going to go for some sort of push strat using the wards, so we'll see. I won't dog on them until I watch it out, but look at that. Third pick, Shadow Fiend. Obviously, I mean, any of these 3 picks now could be middle. So, but with Shadow Fiend, I would have to say he weighs in as a stronger solo middle. So we'll see. But now they have the versatility to move their choices around. If you know, based on what the other team picks, if they pick something, they can counter easily by moving stuff around. Radiant goes ahead and they can push forward with the Troll Warlord. I haven't seen too much Troll Warlord since the latest patch, but I still think he's pretty good. I think he's really good. You know, that ultimate, massive attack speed. Not really anyone on his team yet that he works and syncs well with, but I'm sure they'll finish off the last 2 picks with
new game hosted.
Who knows, and Alchemist, Life Stealer, whoever they choose to add more DPS with
10 seconds
that can really take advantage of some bonus attack speed. Dire went ahead and picked up another support, a true support for him. Bane's great. He's got that minus damage, which will work great against Troll Warlord. Excellent disability. You could sleep himself, sleep enemies. I'm not too sure if you sleep yourself and get sleep by Nagasiren. We're going to see a lot of lazy resting people this game with all this sleep, though. I can tell you that. Leshrac now picked up on the Radiant side. Leshrac's great. Excellent support. AoE stun. Little lightning. Extra pushing power. So we're going to see a lot of pushing from both sides. Got some wards. Got some raises. Got some Leshrac epicenters. Take down those towers quickly. That along with the attack speed. That's pretty nice. So,
Radiant
this might my hunch right now is this isn't going to be a very long game. This could round up and end up really quick. This could end rather quickly. This is what I'm trying to say. Once again, this is a European Elite League, part of the IXDL.net website. Gave me the privilege to cast these games. Pretty eager and excited. You can also catch me on twitch.tv/KotlGuy, where you can really see me be one with the Kotl, if you will. I want to thank my 12 viewers for hanging by right now, and I want to thank everyone in the game for watching and taking the time to listen to my mouth. So, with the last picks on each side now, the last bands went out. No Storm Spirit, no Obsidian Destroyer, very strong middle players. They don't want a lot of competition for the mid against maybe their Shadow Fiend. They want to make sure he has a nice, easy time. But, oh, man, look at that. Look at that. Tinker.
New game
rounding
hosted.
off the picks for the Dire team. Pretty interesting. I mean, you got Elder Titan, Venomancer, Shadow Fiend, Bane, and Tinker. I mean, technically, I wouldn't be too
new game hosted.
Offended if I saw any of these heroes go middle. So, I mean, look at that. They could do whatever they want. I'm going to be real eager to see what they do. On the Radiant side, they chose to ban out Rubik. I guess they were worried about their mass amount of AoE ultimates and AoE spells, that they're worried that Rubik pretty much will have a feast on any of their heroes with his,
Reserve time.
its ability to steal their spells. Alright, and the last pick I would have to think is going to be some sort of strong DPS. I'm seeing a lot of magic damage, a lot of AoE, but they really need someone to knock on the door of the enemy's base and really get things rolling. So, Tinker. I like Tinker. Let's talk about how I like Tinker. I like Tinker a lot. I feel like if you could play a well Tinker, then you're a great player. I mean, that doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense, but Tinker takes a lot of skill, and you usually end up with like 4 to 5 clickables. You're moving around. You got to make sure you know your hotkeys. You got to make sure that you know this game. It ain't no hero that just some little scrub can pick up and play with. And it's going to be a real treat to see, because I love watching Tinker. I don't like trying to follow him with my camera because he moves around like a son of a bitch, but we're going to try our best. And finally, to pin out the picks, Radiant picked up Gyrocopter. There's the DPS I was talking about before. So that's great. They're going to have some good damage. They're not going to run with some sort of superior single core, kind of like what Dire's going with right now with Shadow Fiend. So that's pretty interesting. The late game could vary with them. I would have to put on paper and say that Radiant's definitely got the stronger pick and the better draft so far. But, I mean, what do I know? You don't know who I am. You don't even know what my opinion really is. So with that said, we're in the game right now. We're going to go ahead and do the roll call, if you will, and get the introductions underway. On the Radiant team, Dread is going to be sporting Troll Warlord. For Teal, Darkseer. Solo from Virtus Pro is going to pick up the Darkseer, and obviously he's going to take his business to the top lane, which is going to be obviously the off lane where, well, Darkseer is very, very good at. Naga Siren, G-Spot sporting purple color, and yellow is going to be played by, well, I'm just going to call him ASD because I don't want to say as in every fight, so we're going to go with ASD. Playing Gyrocopter, he's going to take himself to the bottom, which we'll see if they're going to go with a 2-1-2 or maybe a, well, this could be a pretty offensive tri-lane. That looks like that might be what they want to do. Dendy, the world-famous Dendy. My goodness, what a privilege to cast him as my first official game. Welcome, sir. I'm very excited to see you play something outside the Dendy box, and that is Leshrac. I don't think I've ever seen him play that, so I'm going to be real curious to see what he tries to do with that. And now, moving on to the Dire squad. Shistrik playing Tinker. He's going to go for a quick Soul Ring, and he's going to go top. So he's going to go ahead and try to get as much farm as possible to get those boots of travel, I'm sure, and really get the mobility and the push power. Him along with this Venomancer played by Wickdisk. Yeah, you're going to have to forgive me if I say some of these names wrong. Wickdisk playing Venomancer with those Venom wards. He's going to get some extra pushing power to go alongside Tigger. Playhard's going to take up the big strapping role of middle with the Shadow Fiend. Always a popular mid hero. And then we got Wedgerstrick playing Bane. Looks like he might be hanging around middle a little bit to really babysit his friend Shadow Fiend, and Moon and the ever so versatile other Titan's going to be going, looks like solo off lane bottom. So he's going to have a bit of a tough time, not really having the ability to stop those creeps and stop those pools too much, and didn't even get the wards down. So let's give this a go. All right, here we go. I got the right thing up.
New game hosted.
Nope, that's not the right one. Last hit denies, and we begin. So they're going to go, what, 2 versus 1 against Dread middle. Maybe they're a little nervous about the matchup they would have had. Maybe they have respect for Dread. But it looks like they're going to go for a 2 versus 1 middle and really try to get Shadow Fiend as much farm as possible. Not allow Troll to get any easy farm whatsoever. Mute IXDL sounds. I can do that. You know what I can do? I can close the IXDL altogether. I apologize if you guys can hear all that. We're going to move on from there. There we go. There's my sound. Alright, so Bane making the ping out top. Looked like he's going to finish his business middle and migrate towards the top area. He might run into the Darkseer. Darkseer doing the best he can, but hey, Darkseer can handle his own. He is a man who can hold his own in this top offensive lane. Gaining easy farm thanks to his Ion Shell and the Surge ability, being able to move him away rather quickly in case he gets in a pickle. Bane's going to pick up on that, and he's going to go in there, and they're going to assert their force. With that Surge, he's going to make the run. The Venom's Gale, though, will not slow him down, and they're going to get the March of Madness to really swipe away these creeps before he has the chance to get back in there. So, thanks to the early help, Shadow Fiend is leading ways. 11-4 on CS, going against Troll 6-1, so a slight lead for him. Dendy on Lesh already knows it's about 2 minutes. Going to pick up that regen, and the illusion will pop up as well. So, yummy in my tummy. Dendy picks up 2 different types of wards, and he might use them to his advantage and go middle. They got the ping out though, so Shadow Fiend's going to back up. He's going to see him coming, throws out the rays to get him down, and oh, with the auto attacks to the tower, could fall, but Troll's there to back him up, and does get the last hit. Poor Dendy. Poor Dendy, just a little too far, or maybe Troll didn't move up quick enough, but props to Play Hard, Shadow Fiend, for recognizing the situation, knowing he has a bit of advantage, and gets the last hit. My apologies there, looks like Second Blood went off bottom, and Elder Titan does fall, making this a 1-1 matchup. So, interesting so far, the great and powerful Dendy feeding the first blood, and Elder Titan falls next, so pretty back and forth. Top try lane is going to make these pulls happen, try to take away as much farm from Darkseer as possible, but he's going to get a little bit of help. Dendy, tired of the roaming action, is going to take top, so they're going to pursue a 2-2-1 laning phase. Might have been just a little too much power by the Dire side, denying Darkseer of all those creeps, so he's going to go ahead and get some assistance there. Ooh, a little push action here on Play Hard middle, but not quite enough. Dread was not able to assert too much power, being very low on life, but Naga, being a good friend she is going to hand off a salve. Over here on bottom, it looks like ASD's got some excellent farm going. He's sporting 13-1, going against Elder Titan, who's got a 5-1. Not terrible, but thanks to this new one-on-one matchup, he can go in here and get a few last hits. That'll help him out. We've got a little bit of action top right now. Dendy under the gun again! Takes a couple of hits and is falling. But then the Bane will pay for it as well. Will he, though? Jumping around the trees, Darkseer frustrated. Ring around the rosy is unfortunately not enough, and he does fall. Unfortunately, Darkseer looked like he was trying to avenge his friend, but wasn't able to. Bane, that sly dog, moving around those trees, able to get away, so that's pretty good. 3-1 is your score in favor of the Dire, so that's what Dire, I think, is going to need. In this kind of matchup, and like I said before, I really feel like Radiant have the stronger jab. They're going to need to do what they can this early game to really assert themselves, running only that true single DPS core of Shadow Fiend. But looks like Radiant's going to try to assist a little more. Dady and G-Spot, they're smoking on the side. Smoking token up. Waiting around, but nope. They're going to decide to back up. Didn't really see the opportunity, and obviously Venomancer has spotted him and does a little bit of ward to show him, hey, I see you down there. Why don't you go ahead and get the heck out. 24, 25, and 11 for the Shadow Bean. He is still leading a bit, but here comes the assistance. 3 versus 1. The TPs are in, though. There goes Bane. It's not going to be enough. Tries to go for a bit of the sleep action. And Dread, diving hard, wants to go out a winner. So, gets the hit in anyways. Does get the experience for taking out the Shadow Fiend, but he does fall himself. Might have, you know what, I think it might have been worth it. It might have been worth it because if he really wants to get his assertion back in this middle lane, I feel like he was a little bullied earlier in the game with that Bane Shadow Fiend 2-on-1, and I think he wanted to assert his force and take back that mid lane. Man, I am weird with my words sometimes. Anyways, Dendy's sporting up the mid lane now, and he's trying to get some decent farm. He's really playing that roaming role.
Bottom tower is under attack.
A lot of ganking, a lot of roaming. It's very easy to do with this Radiant squad. Naga, that long range ensnare. Leshrek, that AoE stun. But, Dire's persistent.
Radiant's
They are
middle
persistent
tower
for
is
this
under
Tinker to
attack.
pick up Boots of Travel real quick. They're going to try to give him as much chance of a farm as he's ever going to get. So he can really get those Boots of Travel going. Then he can start moving around and sharing the farm with other teammates. But I think that's the first thing he's got to do on his list. Darkseer's probably getting pretty frustrated. Venomancer Tri-Lane is a tricky one to go against. You got those wards laying out for a little extra vision. And now you have the bit of slow. There goes the laser. The slow. The gate already went out. He's going to get some assistance from his team. Are they going to push too hard for it? Bane got stuck. There's the ensnare. Riptide, and you're down, buddy. Don't go so greedy next time. There we go. The missile has been launched. Venomancer on the run. He's going to fall. Plays out one last ward for his life. And the Riptide does hit and take him out as well for a nice 2-1. Very well job by the Radiant squad. TPing in right there. Helping out their good friend, the Darkseer. And unfortunately, Dire thought they were going to get something going there, but it was
Dire's
not
top
enough, and they
tower
just
is under
stayed a
attack.
little too long.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Dendy is getting very deep in the jungle, going to plant a very deep offensive ward. They're going to take the momentum they've been having by all this roaming, and they're going to try to make some pickoffs in the enemy jungle, but here we go. Dendy on the backside. We got a bit of a commotion here in this top jungle.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And there with the raise, they finish off the Gyrocopter, who's just got stuck in a bit of a pickle. Getting surrounded. Dendy knew there was a bit of trouble, so he's trying to find his escape out of this jungle. Waiting for the right opportunity to really get out of there, but they're making a push on Dread middle with the sleep and the couple of raises plus the brain sap. They do make the finish. Sorry, I had to double check and make sure it was called brain sap. I'm just not as confident myself as I guess I thought. Dendy hanging around the
Dire's
jungle.
bottom
Not sure what he's
tower is
trying to
under
accomplish
attack.
here. I guess he's worried. He doesn't see Vino anywhere on the map, so he's trying to find his way out. But nope, he's pushing. He's going to run right into each other. Vino misses the gale. Maybe a bit surprised. Edict goes out. There's the stun. It does, lad. And that's what makes the difference between a true veteran and not. Well, I mean, I don't mean to dog on him whatsoever, but I think Venomancer got a little excited when he saw Lestrak and just kind of busted his load a little too early and galed all over the place except on Dendy himself. Whoa, that got a little... Well, that got a little awkward right there. Anyways, though, Dendy keeping his composure. Throws out the Edict. The one-on-one, you're never going to win against Edict, and does manage to land the stun. So, very nice job there by Dendy. Hanging out in the jungle finally paid off. So, leading the way, as you can see right here, 47-12 is Shadow Fiend. What the heck did I just do here? Hold on, close that. There we go. 47-2. Shadow Fiend leads the way. He's got his power treads now, and he's got an Ogre Axe. Looks like he's going to go all the way for a Black King bar, which is a very smart idea. They take the time to toke up right now, and they're pushing forward. They're going to run to Yellow and Teal, and man, they just walked into a world of hurt right there. Play Hard, Wicked, and Elder Titan all there, 4 of them there, and they just sweep through the Radiant squad. I don't know what they were thinking right there. Not a smart idea to push into the Dire jungle when you don't know where the Dire team is, and they just ran into a world of hurt. And they're going to take the momentum right now and continue to push forward in this middle lane. Try to take the first tower. That's the first tower, right? Sure it is. With those wards, that's going to help. So they're going to hang on this middle lane and get that push. So very bad luck for the Radiant squad trying to make a move into the jungle. But here we go. Darkseer hanging on the backside. Tinker pushing hard for those boots of travel. Is about 600 away. Nope, sorry, 500. Less than 500. Away for those boots of travel, and here we go. They're going to get that tier 1. The Radiant team, they're not going to put up much of a fight. They're going to let that fall, so we're going to see a slight lead now already going for the Dire team. About 2,500 gold lead right there. Oh, my apologies. Tinker
now that's bleeding edge.
Got fed up with the Darkseer hanging out in the back too long and got some assistance from the Bane, it looks like, and they managed to finish the Darkseer. Darkseer taking control of the off lane, but might have got a little too cocky, which seems to be the story so far of the game. I think Radiant's just getting a little too cocky, jumping through the jungle, trying to get all these early ganks and move around, and they might be underestimating the mobility of this Dire team, which is only going to get better now as Tinker's picked up those boots of travel, so you can expect him to really pop around and really shoot up on the GPM chart. As we're looking here, Shadow Fiend still laying the way, but right behind him is that Tinker. Gyrocopter's in 3rd, but, well, he's got a little more work to do. Phase Boots only ain't going to cut it right now, so Gyro's going to hang out bottom and try to get a little more farm. Speaking of farm, Shadow Fiend hanging out middle. He's got the babysitter Tinker right there. They're waiting for someone to pop up middle and maybe get something going, but there we go. Had his eye on top. He's going to push top out a little bit right here. And Gyrocopter's going to take his business to the Alright, the Naga Siren has been sung. They're going to push ahead and try to position something very quickly. Tinker fell right there. Just did not have anything to really stop the attack from coming. And, well, with a quick call down and bit of damage, was able to finish off the Tinker quickly. But Leshrac Dendy, hanging out too long, managed to get picked off, unfortunately, by the Bane and Venomancer. So overstaying his welcome. Picking up phase boots only. Good damage, but they're going to be a little squishy. Dread was having a bit of a difficult time in the mid lane earlier, but seemed to have picked up a bit. He's got 65 CS, as well as some phase boots and a poor man's shield with about 600 in the bank, so not terrible. Venomancer is going to try to peck away at this tier 1 top tower and really try to bring in more net worth for everyone, getting those towers early with their push advantage. Dread's getting out for the rune, isn't able to find anything. The illusion's actually bottom, which it looks like Shadow Fiend's going to go and pick up instead. And Elder Titan hanging out in the jungle, played by Moon. Going to play his security for Tinker here in the bottom, who's trying to get a push also. So the Dire squad got a lot of split push action already this early into the game. It's only 12 minutes 30 seconds. Your score is 8-2 in lead for the Dire team. Oh no, Dread out on his own. The Bane able to take him on alone thanks to the help of the Ancient Creeps. Was able to lay out his ultimate and finish him off with Supreme Vision. Dire team not to be taken lightly. They're laying out the wards. They're seeing when smokes are coming. They're seeing when ganks are there. And now they're going to take their business through the jungle. They're hunting. They see this poor little Dendy and ASD Flying through. He's going to run into a world of hurt right here, though. 3 on 2. Turn around. There's a quick sleep. There's a quick raise, and he falls rather quickly. And same with Naga. They're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know where their vision is. It's nowhere to be found, so they can't see any of this stuff coming. I know Dendy's playing support. Maybe he's very unfamiliar with the part, but you have to get wards, my friend. No one is anyone on their team getting wards.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's take a look. Well, we can't look at it, but part of the deal when you play support is to ward, I'd say, and really get the vision up for your team. I'm just not saying it here for the Radiant. And Dire is taking well advantage of that, and they're roaming around and taking control of this game. It's 8-15, and well, if we look at the gold graph, you can see they're about 6,000 gold ahead of the Radiant squad, and as far as experience, it's pretty much the same. Dread hanging far back in his own jungle, trying to make of any farm he can by taking those neutral creeps, but I think the Dire team know they have the strong advantage in this one, and they're going to take the time to say hello to their friend Roshan and ask him over for that Aegis. No threat whatsoever. Radiant don't really have the vision to even see where the team is. They're just going to probably assume they're going around ganking, so this is going to be one of the easier Roshas I've seen. And it's going to go ahead and fall right there. So, with that break of the Aegis, let's go ahead and take a moment here and we can really look at the items. As you can see, Shadow Fiend did manage to finish his Black King Barb. Medallion was picked up on Venomancer. Bane, playing a true support, only about Mana Boots and Urn because he's been buying a lot of the wards. Moon might be going for the mechanism of his team. Sorry about the camera angle there. Shadow Fiend does take out the Leshrac. Got a little caught up with those items, and my amateur self took over a bit. But pretty much the same story. This Dire squad making a roll around, taking out anyone in their path, sticking together. Tinker spots out Dread, will lay out the Marchers to really pose a threat to this Radiant team, not even giving them the chance to breathe. They're suffocating them at the throat, moving around the jungle together.
Dire's top tower.
And boom, Gyrocopter falls. He's way too out by himself, and this Dire team is just moving as a pack. And there's Teal off on his own in the top lane, trying to surge himself out of a bit of trouble. The mobility by this Dire team is something else. Solo managing to find a spot to safely TP, and he'll get out of there. But the story has been so far the mobility of this Dire team. They have the wards up, they have the boots of travel. They're just moving all around this map, and they know where to go and where to find the team with the wards. And, well, Radiant doesn't really know at all what's going on. They're just trying to scavenge for any farm they can. And, well, if they don't get these wards going up soon, they're just going to collapse in themselves. Dendy waiting out for the 16-minute rune. He does find its illusion top, but little does he know he's about to be flanked from both sides. There goes Shadow Fiend. In front of the bottom is Tinker. He's going to spot him out. There goes the laser and auto attack. But he's going to be a little too far from Shadow Fiend. But Shadow Fiend sees him up there with the ward attack, and that's what I'm talking about, folks! You got to get the wards! Dendy thought he was safe on top of the hill, but he didn't understand that the Dire have wards on the hill, and, well, if you're going to stop, Shadow Fiend's going to hit you right in the face, and you're going to fall. Solo trying to redeem his team does manage to pincer Venomancer in the wall of the trees and catches him off. Solo put to sleep and does eat a missile for his troubles. There goes the ultimate, but it's not enough. And snares laid out. Moon does manage to finish him off, and now Naga's in a bit of trouble. She's making a run for it right now, but we've got 3 big bad men behind you. Make that 4! There goes the missile. He's put to sleep. Now they can really set something up. Say your last prayer. Alright, he's gone. So, with the motivation, Dire team, they're going to go ahead and try to push for this tier 2 bottom. 3 of the Radiant squad have fallen. And Dread's still trying to make do with what farm he can possibly get. He's trying to quickly get a BKB, it looks like, but, well, he's a far ways away. Shadow Fiend already has his BKB. It looks like Moon's picked up his mechanism. Darkseer's picked up his mechanism as well, so trying to help what survivability rather he can for his team. Pushing forward, trying to get the Tinker out of there, but Tinker with that mobility and now picking up a Blink Dagger, he's going to be quite the bugger. Dire's going to hang strong here bottom and take out that tier 2 thanks to Veno wards and the survivability they already have. But a lot of the same. The name of the game seems to be you're out too far, you're going to get caught off. But here we go. ASD's there to back his friend Dread up, which is in. There goes the call down. The rocket's laid out. Bane's a little too under the weather right now as he falls to the ensnare. My camera is all over the place right now. Naga laying out the song, sees a trouble incoming from behind, and gets herself a get out of jail free card and
Dire's top tower is
runs
under
away.
attack.
Will the team be able to catch up to him? No, they won't. And the rest of the Radiant team
Dire's structures
smart
are
enough to
fortified.
push top and not make a turn for it. Solo might be going a little too far. Here comes the TP. It's Venomancer. Lays out the ward to get the vision, but Darkseer's got a couple of his friends there, and he's gonna be just fine. Dendy getting some extra offensive wards up, putting him in the Dire jungle. He's still persistent about getting some pickoffs going, doesn't feel the need to really get any defensive wards, so manages to get himself in and out of the Dire jungle without trouble. And on the other side of the map, Play Hard does manage to finish off the Gyrocopter, who probably just got caught a little too far out. Plus the mobility of Tinker doesn't help whatsoever. Alright, so still leading the way, 136 to 14. Shadow Fiend picked up his Crystallis, still holding that Aegis, and he's got his Black King bar, so starting to build towards a little more DPS for his team, trying to really put a seal on the deal for this game for their team, but it ain't over till it's over. 10 to 22 though is the score. Not enough burst damage to take down Dread, but Tinker's gonna do what he can anyways, lays down some markers for the trouble and picks up a little extra farm. Elder Titan Bane and Venomancer, meanwhile, gonna try to push the top
tower
lane.
is under attack.
Gonna try to lay a base of wards right here to really get a push going and take down this tier 2 and further pursue the amount of farm they have. Meanwhile, the Radiant team does lay out the vacuum. The ultimate goes up by Venomancer. The install lands. The wall is good. Gets one of them. They do manage to pick down the Elder Titan. Venomancer on the run. Is getting hit up by that Edict. I don't think he's gonna be able to make this. He's gonna push for that.
Radiant's middle
Tries to
tower is
ward
under
block
attack.
himself, but it's just a too late does fall. Shadow coming in from behind, a little too late, and Tinker shows up as well, trying to blink in with the march, but the Aegis does pop, and Shadow is back in the mix. There goes the ultimate, and Naga Siren does fall. So the momentum was there for the Radiant team, but unfortunately, thanks to the Aegis of the Shadow Fiend and the mobility by Tinker and the Bane switching over, they managed to turn the tide and take advantage of that team fight, and now they're going to go ahead and
Radiant's top
push for
tower
this
is
tier
under
2.
attack.
Meanwhile, like I said before, Radiant unable to get a tower yet in this game. Still have every tower up for the Dire team. They were going
Radiant's
to need to
top
really
tower
get
is
some
under
money going
attack.
for them. About 3 of the top 5 net
Radiant's
worth
middle tower is
going
under
for the Dire
attack.
team.
Radiant
And
structures are
Venomancer
fortified.
has picked up his Oblivion Staff, might be going towards an Orchid, which is very great for this Radiant, to go against this Radiant team. But Naga Siren's out, looking to deny the tower. And there's the TP by Dread. We now have 3-on-2 numbers. Shadow Fiend popping the ult, popping the BKB, does burst to Dread though, got him on lockdown. Bane trying to make it run away for it. Going around the side, does have an Urge down, puts the Dread to sleep, but Shadow Fiend does manage to turn around and auto-attack down the Troll, and now they're on a hunt right now for Naga Siren, who unfortunately is just going to Riptide. She knows she's dead. And there we go. Triple kill and a dominating. That is a 5-man wipe by the Radiant.
Radiant's
The
middle
Radiant,
tower
rather, has
is
fallen.
under attack.
I'm a bit flabbergasted by everything that just happened in front of my face right now. But, wow. So, what can we say? I don't mean to be a man who can point fingers on anything, but I really think the Radiant need to step up their support game. They were there, they were anxious to roam, they were anxious to get the ganks, but they didn't quite have the wards, the basic fundamentals of supporting. Without those wards, you can't see what's going. If you're running into the Dire jungle and you don't even know where anyone on their team is, you're going to run to a smoke gank right in front of your face, and too many mistakes, too many little flubs. The Dire jumped on the opportunity, took the extra goal, took the extra momentum rather, and just kind of swept through the game. So I want to thank you very much for hearing me out. That was my first game, and I know there's probably a lot of flubs, and I'm still an amateur at this, but I want to appreciate for everyone for listening in on what I had to say. And if you liked what you heard, I'm at twitch.tv/KotlGuy and Twitter at KotlGuy. So thank you very much. I'm going to take a brief break, hop into a new game, and I'll go live for one more, okay?